One of the trickiest elements of writing music in odd time signatures is coming up with melodies. Melodies are arguably the most important element when it comes to writing music, and a lot of prog has less than stellar melodies in my opinion. So here are a couple of ideas for writing melodies over more complex rhythms. To explain these ideas, I'm going to use a couple of melodies from my tune Paramnesia. I just remixed this one and posted the video on the channel last week if you want to check out the full song. And if you're new here, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all of that good stuff, and let's get into it. The first tip I have is to keep the melody simple. The more complex the music underneath the melody is, the more important it is for that melody to be memorable, and often the best way to do that is to keep the melody simple. One important aspect of this is the density of the melody. If you're dealing with a crazy rhythm or a super complex riff, a nice, slower, simpler melody can really help to balance out that complexity. The entirety of Paramnesia is based on this rhythm in 11/8, divided as 2-3-2-2-2 as eighth notes. The chorus of the tune features this simple melody over top of that rhythm. This melody is moving stepwise in a very sparse, singable fashion. There are two important compositional approaches I'm taking here. One is to have the melody land on chord tones. It lands on the third of the C major 7 and E minor 7 chords, and then on the fifth of the A major chord. And then the second time through these same chords, it lands on the fifth, and then the root, and then on the third. But even more important than the notes, I'm having the melody follow this 11/8 rhythm. Notice how the melody lines up with that rhythm, always changing notes on the subdivisions of the 2-3-2-2-2 pattern. This is doing two things here. It's allowing this melody to fit in nicely with the whole arrangement, and it's also making this 11/8 rhythm a little easier to digest by providing it with a nice catchy melodic element. When I'm writing these kind of melodies, my first approach is usually to improvise melodic ideas on my guitar, or maybe sing melodies over the rhythms, and then I'll slowly work those ideas into the rhythmic structure, and this puts more of a focus on the melody being catchy and memorable, even when the rhythms are a little more complex. I've found I often end up with much better melodies by just doing what comes naturally to me, by choosing that melodic idea that keeps coming into my head over and over again, and that was definitely the case with this melody. Now, melodies don't have to be simple just because the music is complex. Sometimes a more involved melody is necessary. Here's the verse melody from Paramnesia. This melody has a lot more movement than the chorus melody, and that's on purpose to contrast the slower vibe of the chorus. It's a good idea to make your melodies varied within a song to give each melody its own character. This melody follows that 11/8 rhythm just like the chorus melody, but this time with some more eighth notes involved. And this one also features another important element of melodic writing, and that's the idea of motifs. This 4-note motif is the foundation of the melody. It plays and gets responded to, and then it plays again up a minor third when the chord changes, and it gets a slightly different response. So I'm using this motif in a call and response fashion, a very common approach in melody writing. I'm also using this as a way to connect these chord changes. This is essentially a modal chord progression moving from A Lydian up to C Lydian, and this motif playing over both of these modes helps to connect them together. And that's one of the most important things to remember with melodies. They shouldn't just sit on top of the music. They should fit into the whole composition and help to highlight and enhance the overall arrangement. And that was one of my main goals with the melodies in this particular song, to have them help tie together these complex rhythmic and harmonic ideas, to give the piece some memorable hooks, and to make the rhythms a little more digestible. So there are a few tips for writing melodies over odd time signatures. This is a really complex subject, and it can vary a lot depending on the song and the actual rhythms being used, but hopefully some of these ideas can help you the next time you have to write a melody over some ungodly time signature. And if you enjoyed this lesson, subscribe, hit the bell notification, like, comment, share, and I'll see you all in the next video. Till then, stay proggy.